The UK creative industries are worth over £115 billion to the country's economy. That's bigger than the life sciences, aerospace, and the automotive sectors combined. In 2018, the UK government announced the first significant investment programme in research and innovation for the creative industries, investing £95 million through UKRI in 2 major programmes. Partners have since doubled that funding, supporting 9 regional clusters across all 4 nations of the UK through the Audience of the Future Challenge and the Creative Industries Clusters programme. Our 2 programmes have produced clear evidence of 6 ways that public R&D funding can impact our creative nation, and the best way to tell that story is by meeting the companies our funding has supported.
Before the funding, when Charles and I started, there were only 2 of us in the business. We didn't have a penny, there was no money whatsoever. So when we applied for the funding and we actually won, it was a huge benefit to us. It basically bootstrapped our entire company. We now have 7 members of staff working with us full time. Everything that we've done so far, other than the funding from Innovate UK, has been completely organic. We've not taken any investment from investors. We'll hope to keep going on this trajectory of organic growth this year, and we're hoping to hit our revenue targets of £500,000. We expect to double this, or maybe even triple it by year 2, where we're going to be aiming for around about a £2 million revenue turnover. Initially, our core area was to provide on-site virtual reality training to businesses, but obviously after the pandemic hit, all of that effort actually got cancelled. But this gave us the opportunity to pivot the solution, and we're more focused on supporting remote management of devices than we were before. Some of the people that work at Innovate UK gave us some new connections. They now became some of our biggest clients today, who are still working with us and continuing to give us work. We would never have had this opportunity if it wasn't for the introductions from Innovate UK. Outside of the actual commercials, we have a lot of plans in the works for how we're going to develop the platform even further. We're no longer looking at it as a platform only. It was a platform initially designed to be used for distribution of augmented and virtual reality applications, but it's now become so much bigger than that. It's an ecosystem that allows enterprises to pick and choose the features that they need to adopt immersive technologies in a meaningful and impactful way for their business. Thanks to the support from Innovate UK, this allowed us to switch our thinking. I'm mostly technical minded, so this allowed us to think more along the commercial lines, thinking about commercial opportunities, post-project exploitation, and what a business plan looked like. This help for us was absolutely enormous. It was such a growth opportunity for us to learn, and now that the training wheels are off, we've been doing it on our own for a while without any support, and we're absolutely excelling at it, and I cannot wait to see what the future has for us.
I'm Greg Maguire, and I'm the founder and CEO of Humane. We create digital humans for AAA video game developers. The biggest blocker we have right now is finding the skills to deliver what our customers need. Without the funding, it would have limited the growth of our company. So what we used the investment accelerator for was to look at a new approach to doing what we're doing. With Audience of the Future's help, we partnered with an investor to bring in the funding required to complete our R&D. Through the program, our entire team was upskilled in machine learning. We gained new knowledge and we gained new skills in this area. Looking back on it now, we really did start at zero, and over the course of the program developed state-of-the-art deep learning architecture and redefined the future of our company. We have grown both our revenue, which we have invested back into the company, and we've also taken on additional external investment. We had a staff of 20, and now we're up to close to 30. And we hired them to purely focus on company R&D. And we are taking what we have learned over the past 2 years, and we are accelerating it as hard as we can. So over the Next 12 months, we should be able to steadily increase our market share. And over the next 2 years, we hope to develop some of those new markets for our products. We are definitely going to be pushing further in this area. Hey, and AI, it's in our name. It's why we're called Humane.
Dream is a new production inspired by the world of A Midsummer Night's Dream, which seeks to deliver a magical experience for live audiences and to explore the intersection between live performance, immersive media, and connected virtual spaces.
There is a sort of disconnect between traditional technical skills and what I would say is future technical skills that we need. And increasingly, we're needing more of those software skills in our organisation.
Collaboration is absolutely crucial when we look at exploring new technologies in our field.
There is no way that you can do it on your own as an independent organisation. And if you want to work on scale and if you want to have reach, global reach, as an entertainment and cultural sector, you have to work together to be able to essentially build the infrastructure required to deliver the experiences that we want to.
If we look at collaboration, we can bring in different industries, different expertise, and ask shared questions that will take us forward in new ways that aren't working with our existing cultural biases or systems or forms.
And also, I think having people who understand IP and licensing around this work. It's a changing landscape, especially for music and music licensing, that we need people in organisations who can support us legally. We've just created a toolkit which has in it a lot of the findings and tools and assets that we've created, which is just a gift really to the wider sectors. They can learn from our research.
If you're a small company, R&D happens either in three ways. Either it doesn't happen at all, it happens on the fly as a result of trying to work out a problem with a live project, or it happens in downtime that you have to fund yourself.
It's that challenge of growing to the next stage of their business, and they can't do that without understanding both what works and what doesn't work, without taking risks, and without investing in their business.
For startups, it's incredibly difficult to access both like the finances to do this kind of R&D, but also the researchers to actually make it really grounded in methodology and like look at user behaviour.
When we did the AI Spy virtual reality project, there were a number of questions that were asked of the audience that just would not have normally been asked in market research. And those were a lot around the psychology of how the audience felt about virtual reality, about the propensity to pay for content in an immersive landscape. And the answers were quite surprising.
It allows researchers to demonstrate their skills and expertise and how those skills and expertise can directly impact and benefit the companies. In turn, the researchers get to see their research put into action and actually contribute to the growth and development of a business.
And those may be in completely new territories that industry has not yet thought of, but that R&D has been researching for many years into new forms of storytelling, of entertainment, of audio, of visual techniques, of virtual reality or artificial intelligence as it grows and grows in its importance.
We've had, over the past 3 years, over 80 R&D collaborations, and we've engaged more than 750 companies.
It's all about the impact. It's all about tackling real-world industrial challenges. We're looking at the 3 Ps, so people, profit, planet, and we're wanting to make real-world impact working with industry challenges to make the world a better place.
Tiny Rebel Games is an award-winning games and AR development studio.
Sugar is special in the use of creative technology, particularly immersive technologies like AR, VR, and MR.
We led the moving image demonstrator for Audience of the Future, which was a collaboration between Tiny Rebel Games and Potato and Sugar Creative and University of South Wales. And we worked very closely with the team at Aardman.
We were delivering the entertainment demonstrator for the Innovate UK Audience of the Future project. We received 5 million with an extra million in an extension grant in order to continue the project into this year. I can unequivocally say that this project and all of the projects that stem for it would simply not have occurred without it.
We never really had the creative freedom to do a lot of R&D because we didn't have the cash to do it. So we had to be focused on what we could commercially do as a result of it.
R&D is a central component of how we approach creativity and technology and the harnessing of emerging technologies. It is at the heart of everything we do and needs to be for us to stay relevant. Every partner, every brand that we spoke to absolutely loved the idea and they were willing to engage in new formats, but had a massive hesitancy in such a new field. They needed, from a financial point of view, to see KPIs, to see that such a thing was viable within the market. This project then steps in to create those KPIs. It also formed the basis of creating the multi-user storytelling engine, the MUST platform. This is a system that will enable us to underpin a number of transmedia, immersively driven experiences going forward. The potential of that to become commercialized vastly exceeds any specific demonstrator. This was the first piece of R&D that had a global reach and a global impact. So what we have is not a single outcome, but a multifaceted outcome where we see commercial gain, educational gain, skills gain, and also growth within the sector.
I would say it has been completely game-changing for us as a company.
The benefit of engaging with a company like Warner Media is that they value the level of innovation that really goes into projects like this. We are a mixed reality innovation lab and content studio, and dealing with a company the size of Warner Media is almost impossible for a company like ours without programs like XR Stories, and Innovate UK and UKRI. Interchange is a project that is very specific to Warner Media, so it's part of the 5G Futures Challenge. It's essentially a mixed reality archway. The core innovation within that project is part of our IP. It's called Threshold, and it's this idea of creating a line that you can cross between worlds, whether that's into the metaverse, into a fictional universe, or between two physical places using holoportation. One of the things that we're finding is a bit of a shortfall of the industry because it's so young is there are no dedicated infrastructure and facilities designed specifically to build these types of experiences. Eventually, everything's going to be truly convergent. The pipeline for producing screen content and immersive content will be the same. And so we're really exploring how we can join these two things together now. And that's really what our business is. We are developing this new type of studio design altogether. This studio project is part of a job creation program. We currently have around 14 people working for us and a very large network of freelancers. Once at its full height, we'll employ probably about 1,500 people. The fact that the UK government values innovation so much and is almost like a broker in the relationship has been really important for us. It is massively a benefit for us to be able to showcase our potential through the safety of a program like this, and so everyone's a winner.